One of those grabbing machines, everyone's just going to run towards it like, no, pick me, buddy. Like, don't go for the core key. But I'm very excited to see the Poppy actually make it onto the Rift as well. It's one of these picks that, since obviously Worlds competitions as well with PC leagues, I always look to see this champion come through. And I mean, pairing that with the Ornn as well, like both of those ultimates are pretty huge. The fact that you can kind of bounce people away with Poppy as well is very exciting to see, like the outplay potential that could come through for this champion. But over to the side of the MENA squad, we're looking at the Gwen up into the Baron lane, potentially. Obviously, can be flexed into the jungle, but we saw a jungle Gnar in the previous series, so we're expecting this Gnar to go into the jungle as well.
Yeah, there could be there's a few flex options here, I think, for red sides. Again, Gnar can go in, you know, any of the side lanes. We could be seeing a scenario where both the Gnar and the Gwen go into both of the side lanes. I think that might be the most predictable option, and maybe trying to go for another jungler instead. The great thing is you have that Gwen as the AP damage source that you always need. You know, I always speak highly of teams that prioritize that AP damage source within the first three picks and rotations. Gwen being one of them, obviously Lilia being banned away. Wouldn't be surprised if Rumble also gets banned away here for the MENA squad. If you ban the Lilia, you ban the Rumble. There you go, as predicted. That's two AP damage sources taken away, and at the moment we're looking at Mango Esports team, and they have a lot of AD damage. They don't really have a lot of AP damage at all, so they need some sort of AP damage in their kit to make sure that, you know, these sort of tanks on the side of the MENA squad can just build armor and just be unkillable.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, obviously, like you said, with the flex picks, obviously, Ornn can go up into the top side of the map as well. Majoritively being played into, obviously, support role here, potentially with Corki. Corki, I can imagine, could still either be flexed into the mid lane as well, but like you were saying there, we definitely do need some AP onto the side, so more likely going to be that AP go into the mid lane for now. But the Xayah coming out here as well is definitely where the AD was lacking to the side of the MENA squad. So, again, great ultimate, trying to cancel out maybe either the Poppy's ultimate and any kind of other ultimate that have that kind of standard, like Ornn as well. So already a good pick here, but the Vladimir is definitely what's going to be nice to round this comp out with.
Interesting Vladimir pick. Not really useful when it comes to the early game. Might find it a little bit difficult, to be fair, as well. There's a lot of CC and a lot of ways that the Vladimir can just get stopped in its path. So wouldn't really the pick that I was expecting, to be honest. Again, though, it's something that Blitzcrank can't really hook, because you're hooking Vladimir, and then Vladimir just uses his pull, his second ability, and then just stops any of the engage. Might find it a little bit difficult. It can be enough you know, hook priority. I was expecting maybe like a volley bear to be picked here for Mango. I think it would have been a lot better option. Again, more frontline. It still gives you that AP damage source as well. Still, I think the comp is pretty rounded out quite well. And now we're going to see where the flex picks are going to lie here on the side of the MENA squad. You know, with Gnar and Gwen, who's going to be playing in the solo lanes, who's going to be playing in the jungle. It is Darius, so we are expecting this Gnar to go into the jungle, and then we'll have both Gwen and Darius in the side lane. Again, as expected, no mages. Very surprised that mages were picked in the last series, but no mages, just a bunch of bruisers, a bunch of tanks, just being that front line that you need to try and stop, you know, champions from getting to the Xayah. But as I mentioned, you know, this Blitzcrank first pick is the real question mark for me. You know, why pick Blitzcrank as this first pick when you know this is going to be the competitive meta? And there's no one you can hook except for the Corki. Corki is the only champion that you can hook this game, which is going to be difficult when you have an Ornn, a Xinjiao, and a Poppy standing right in front of him.
Exactly, that's it. I mean, he's got the front line that he needs to kind of just like pack him out. It's kind of like maybe protect the president here, which is going to be the team comp for the side of Mango Esports, making sure Corki is pretty safe on that one. I mean, in terms of obviously access into the back line, you could potentially look at obviously Gnar trying to jump in there, trying to push the Corki into the front side of the MENA squad to then kind of maybe try and synergize the hook there. But there's a lot of kind of like room for error within that trying to execute that combo, right?
No, exactly. I mean, if you can land the combo, and if you can land all the CC that the MENA squad has, and you have the follow-up as well from like the Gwen coming in as well, if you're able to follow up, get that extra bit of damage, it's possible that the side that, you know, the MENA squad can definitely come in and definitely, you know, get out on top. I think for me, the Mango squad just looks better rounded overall. I think the AD carry pick in general, I mean, Corki is a lot stronger than Xayah at the moment. You have that scaling in the mid lane with Vladimir as well. You have the Poppy as that tank in the top side. So I think when it comes out to an all-round out composition, I think Mango definitely have the advantage there. But as you mentioned, if some of the, you know, the CC and everything can land here, for the MENA squad, then it can definitely come out on top. And we'll have to see as we get into game number 1.
I mean, what I'm most interested to see, is it going to be as scrappy as that first series of the day? Because obviously that was quite action-packed. I felt like I wasn't watching Wild Rift. I was watching some kind of like action flick come through. I was expecting like Bruce Willis to come out of the jungle somewhere and just like say, hippie-ki-yay. I'm not going to continue that one, but there we go. Let's see what happens between Mango and the MENA region team here going forward here. This is obviously the last best of 3 on stream today. Already a lot of tips out up into the top side of the map here. Patterson going 1-to-1 with the Darius right now. I mean, even with the bleed, we see that Poppy's able to kind of really counter that in the early parts of the game.
You have a bit of sustain really with the grasp and also the passive shielding as well. Darius still has the upper hand when it comes to the level 1 thanks to his passive and his bleed potential. Outside of that, it can be okay. Actually, the hook lands onto the ore and might be able to flash forward here as well. Actually, first blood being picked up in this mid lane. I was saying that Blitzcrank doesn't have a lot of ways to try and hook someone in this game, but if an Ornn walks forward and if an Ornn gives you a free hook at level 2 to get an advantage on that snowball potential in the early game, you'd happily take it.
No, absolutely. I mean, definitely going to be feeding that into the Xayah as well, right? I mean, that's probably like one of the key things, but I mean, he's not looking like he's going to take that line down, right? Carlos is straight in there, gets the knock up onto 2, but the Cookie's not be able to follow through just yet, obviously, in terms of the damage right now in the game. Cookie's not going to have what he needs to kind of try and run down the Xayah just yet.
Have to see how this mid lane matchup goes. I mean, as normal, the duo lane is starting to play in the mid lane. When watching the China games earlier on today, as I mentioned, this kind of meta that we're seeing in EMEA with the duo lanes playing in the mid lane, it was a little bit different when I was watching the games this morning. The duo lane actually started off in the bot side where they're supposed to be, but what they do is that every time that the objectives spawn, so when it gets to around 4 minutes, that's when the duo lane starts to rotate, because again, the reason why this happens is so the supports can roam around. And speaking of roaming around as a support, this is exactly why Ornn into the bot side can get that priority. But there's not a lot of damage down, to be fair, and needs to be a little bit careful, as I believe the Blitzcrank is going to kill off the Xinzhou in the bot side in the end. He is going to, so it's a 1-for-1 trade, but this is exactly why the supports can always roam around and try and get an advantage on the map, whether it's in the side lane, whether it's in the jungle. You're going to be seeing these tanking supports like Blitzcrank and Ornn roam around so often.
Yeah, I mean, Blitzcrank has that speed of potential as well, right? Like, he can just make those rotations just a little bit more quicker, a little bit cleaner. Oh, speaking of clean, is that a hook? Oh, Salo is going in, is cleaning up. That was actually transitioned into the kill onto Fiora X now, however, but still a kill nonetheless over to the side of Red Team. They are ahead in terms of the gold so far.
Ah, deadly, deadly, deadly. I mean, I said to him I was going to flame him if he ever gets caught or if he ever dies, but I think I should be nice. What do we think, chat? Should I be nice to him? Like, is that really his fault? Yeah, probably. He should probably be further back. He shouldn't be really under tower like that. He should be a bit further back, and he should be wary of the Blitzcrank Hex Flash, but it's fine. He should still be in this game. He should still be completely fine, but Blitzcrank first pick. Working wonders so far, Blam, which is a big question mark I had coming into this.
I mean, yeah, if I was in game, I'd be definitely question mark pinging like 24/7. Like, what is going on? Why is Blitzcrank so clean with these hooks? Why are we falling for this team? And then obviously, like you said, their positioning needs to be something that maybe having to be considered into these next part of this game, right? Like, they need to make sure that they're too far behind, make sure that the potential Hextech flash isn't going to be enough to actually claim it. But once more, Patterson just here, just chunking the damage from the Darius, and Darius, in like a lot of like top lane sort of matchups, he generally runs this down, but against Poppy, he's struggling.
Yeah, it's against the tanks he kind of struggles with and tries to make sure that he understands his limits, because obviously when he keeps stacking his passive, if he goes for the tower dive, Poppy can easily just use the ultimate to escape. There's even another exchange happening in the top side as well, and you're seeing that Xayah and Blitzcrank have this mid lane priority right now, so you're seeing that this mid lane priority means that the Xayah and the Blitzcrank can roam around when they need to. Gonna go back to the mid lane, get that mid lane priority. Again, this is one of the most important things with Wild Rift, this mid lane priority, trying to push in this mid lane, make sure that the enemy bot lane is staying underneath that tower. Ping's going down towards that Rift Arrow, though. It's going to be a big objective to start things off. A much slower game than what we were seeing in the first series of the day. As I mentioned, this should be a lot closer series than before.
Yeah, exactly. A lot more in terms of obviously the tit for tat, 50-50 in terms of the team fights. A lot of those kills, we have to obviously give credit where credit is due, right? Is Salo with those hooks, like able to clean them and connect them, but then also transition into a kill is definitely kind of something of a focal point for the side of the MENA team, right?
Exactly that. Engage is going to come through
knock-up.
here as well.
Oh!
Onto the knock-up as well. And that's the power of on support, baby. This is why this pick is so high prio. Xayah, for some reason, I think Xayah just auto-attacked the Plon by accident and went back over the wall. That was a little bit of a mistake, but On might get a little bit caught out here, though. But again, uses that knock-up, maybe dies to Ignite in the end. No, actually survives with Ignite. The Xerxej actually dives into the fray in between both the towers, and the Rift Herald's going to be there to help them take that tower. As I mentioned, that's the power of the Yawn. That huge AoE ultimate when it comes to that Rift Herald fight. The double knock-up as well just gives you that big edge early on, and that's going to give the advantage to Mango in this early game with that Rift Herald. It is very even in gold, though, as you can see. There's no difference really in gold.
No difference at all, right? I mean, it definitely is paid off for the side of Mango, right? Actually getting that enchanted ensemble. Look at that T1 in the mid lane. It is looking super duper low. But the Xin Zhao, I mean, it's clear the reason why his name is Obsessed, because he was obsessed with getting that kill onto the red team. Like, even in between those two turrets, he was like, bro, I got this kill. I need to make sure I'm just claiming it and getting it onto the board, because now we're seeing the neutralizing of the 3-3 kill board here. And same for the gold lead. It's slowly going over to the favor of Mango right now. Looking to try and start this Infernal Dragon as well.
Yeah, again, not really priority onto this dragon so far. You're seeing like this early game is always so focused around this Rift Herald. The extra gold that you're able to get and the extra pressure you're able to get from this Rift Herald just means that you can get so much more power. But it is going to be Mango that are going to try and start off this dragon as well. But there is going to be another team fight. The Ornn ultimate comes on through again, though. The triple knocker again. Poppy even knocks one of them away. But Darius with the reset. Here comes the dunks. 2 dunks already. 3 kills over to the Darius. Could have been more, to be honest. The flash forwards into the first ability was so close there. I thought he was going to get reset after reset here with the Darius, but unfortunately wasn't able to get that third reset. But really strong play here from the Darius. As soon as he gets one reset with his ultimate, he can run absolutely wild in these team fights.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we've seen it within the 1v1s where Patterson's been able to kind of like chunk that damage, but there, within that certain case, especially with the likes of Corki and the Vladimir as well, they definitely really struggle to try and kind of keep up with the bleed. I mean, there's so much kind of just over time damage coming from to the side of the MENA team, and obviously the Darius right there. I feel like if they're going to boink anybody at the team fight, it needs to be the Darius.
If this Darius can get ahead, it can really be the carry for MENA right now. Currently has the most gold in the game. And, you know, we talk about how it can be a little bit difficult for Darius to try and get ahead. But the important thing is that he's kind of had a free time in this top lane. He hasn't been really put under any pressure at all. Gwen going into the bot side, though, trying to get the kill in the end. Not going to be able to. Xincha is here to try and help out. Is he going to be able to knock up the Gwen in time? Does have the extra resistances thanks to the second ability. Ornn's going to rotate as well, but it isn't going to be enough. Gwen with that survivability, with that dash away as well, it's going to be completely fine underneath this tower. Might even try and look for an engage. The flash forward from the Blitzcrank. Will the hook land? It unfortunately misses in the end. But Vladimir is still stepping up. Needs to be a little bit careful when stepping up here. In the end, a little bit crazy. But meanwhile, while there are 4 members of the MENA squad in the bot lane, it's meant that Deadly was able to take that mid lane tower. And now they're going to look for a tower dive in the bot lane, but there's not really a lot of minions left. They do need to be careful. Spain coming up absolutely huge in that exchange, but Patterson, he might be in a little bit of trouble here in this top side. The passive stacks comes on through, the dunk onto Patterson. That's 4 kills now over to this Darius. 8,300 gold onto this carry, and this could be very scary.
Lifeline there for FuryX onto the Xayah, but is they going to go re-engage with the 1-2 combo there, able to get back in on top of the Xayah. It's going to be a huge turnaround down to the bot side of the map there between these two teams. But like you were saying there, obviously the lack of minion waves was really the saving grace there for Mango Esports, able to keep on top of that T1 into the bot side of the map, but obviously they did lose into the top side as well. So obviously we are seeing a lot of trade here between these T1s.
mainly what happens, trying to trade, trying to get as much gold as possible in this early game. Normally you see one side of the map gets taken by one team, the other side of the map gets taken by the other team. You're just trying to really play for as much gold as possible in this early game. This global gold that you can get for the towers can make such a big difference. We look at the bottom of screens at the moment in terms of gold lead. Vladimir at the moment has 1,000 gold lead, but a big gold lead really is in that top lane right now. 2,000 gold lead between the Darius and the Poppy. But the reason why this gold lead is still so close, the Xin Zhao is ahead and also the Vladimir is ahead. So it's pretty even overall. Even Corki is a little bit ahead as well. So the gold lead is actually only 400 for the MENA squad, but it's all to that Darius. If that Darius gets taken down early on in these fights, that's pretty much all the gold that MENA have.
Yeah, much closer game this time around, right? It says the series, but hey, we're catching it in the side bush. Is going to be the Darius here as well as everybody else. The knock up the 3 with the on. He goes back in with the knock up onto the second ability third. There goes down, taking down the Gnar as well. That's a good part of the front line, chunked out for the side of the MENA team.
Oh, bye-bye, Deadly.
A little bit lost for wear into the back line of that team fight. Behind the pit of the Baron Nashor is not where you want to be. But timing, he's able to use a Sanguine pull to get out of there. But being pulled by the Darius, he's trying to get the stacks. He gets the slam dunk, but it's not going to be enough. Not getting the passive off in time. He was able to chunk the damage down, but it is going to be Gwen into the back line, trying to take down timing, but gets met the maker towards the end there. I mean, that's a 3-1 trade overall.
Yeah, I mean, the Darius was able to get the passive stacks in the end, but I think he actually ultied the wrong target. He got the stacks onto timing, but I think he ultied the Ornn instead. So a little bit of a misplay here from the Darius. And again, if he was able to maybe ulti timing, get that reset, he would have been able to kill potentially all of them. So would have been very, very difficult. But Mango here, able to take 2 objectives to be able to take 2 dragons, sorry, which is really nice, trying to get towards that dragon soul. And it is going to be Infernal Soul this game as well, so that might be an extra boost of damage.
I mean, especially to the likes of Corki, right? Like, that's going to definitely lay the smackdown. If they're able to claim that last third Dragon Soul, obviously, which is going to come around in about a few minutes' time. But right now, the Baron Nashor has spawned, so I don't think there's going to be a big priority for this Nashor just yet on both teams. I mean, we're already seeing that the lane priority into the side lanes is definitely into the favor of the MENA region right now in this this battle, right? So they need to make sure they clean up either this mid lane, maybe even try and take this T1 before they even decide to go for this Baron Nashor.
Both teams hover around this Baron at the moment. No one wants to start off, though. I think it's so risky sometimes to try and start off this Baron. Both teams just hovering around it at the moment. I think for Mango in this scenario, they can actually kind of wait and keep scaling with their composition. They have the Corki for the scaling. They have the, they have the Vladimir as well, also scaling. If they're able to get this Vladimir and get this Corki up to 3 items, it could be very scary when it comes to the late game. Surprisingly, Corki hasn't gone for Manamune. Might have to ask Deadly why he hasn't gone for Manamune. Might be it's a very interesting choice. I mean, Essence Reaver does give you a lot of power straight away and gives you that really big 1-item power spike, but he hasn't really been able to do that much with it. And he, you know, eventually this Essence Reaver is going to fall off a little bit, and that's where the Manamune comes in. If you can upgrade the Manamune to the Muramana, you get a lot more power when it comes to the mid and late game in terms of scaling. The hook's going to land here, but not the target that he was looking for. Does actually force out the Ornn ultimate, which is pretty big here for the MENA side. Forcing out the Ornn ultimate means that that's a big ulti off the ball here. Maybe they can look to try and get priority around this Baron Nashor again.
Potentially, right? I mean, I think the key here is obviously trying to get this mid T1, and the side of Mango know that, right? They need to make sure that they clean off these minion waves if they decide to take a fight. They are able to claim their blue buff from the side of Mango Esports as well, so already taking that away from Xin Zhao. It's going to be a bit of a trouble there. There's obviously the cooldown reduction into the Xin Zhao kit is pretty much detrimental for him, but they are maybe trying to bait a fight around the Baron Nashor for now. I think they're just kind of playing ring around the roses at the moment. Patterson going into the backside of the pit. Furex kind of catches him out there. Goes in with a knock-up, gets in with the slam. Obviously, quite missing out there is Kalos, not quite getting the impact that he really wanted.
Oh my god, Vladimir!
Yep, timing going in with the Sanguine pull, as with the flash Salo looking pretty low, but the pit comes through with the pull. It's going to be enough. Kalos is taking too much damage. Darius into the other side of the team fight as well. He's definitely trying to chunk out the damage for the side of Mango Esports, but it's going to be Vladimir taking a kill onto the Gnar. Both goes Gwen, Xerxej, and the Blitzcrank. So a 4-2 trade for Mango Esports. So this sets up this Baron Nashor so nicely.
There were so many things that happened in that team fight. First, the initiation. Patson actually sitting in that bush, waiting for the Xayah to walk up. Was really well played, was able to push the Xayah up against the wall, force the cleanse away from the Xayah, and also was able to get her ultimate. Two really big ultis, and Vladimir had the perfect time, saw the perfect opportunity to get in. Really nice initial engage and a lot of burst damage. You saw the Darius try and go for the flank. He got the stacks on the Xin Zhao. It was perfect. The star was a litten, you know, being able to get on the resets with the ultimate. But unfortunately, the stasis came through from the Xin Zhao. As soon as Darius was trying to get the dunk, trying to get the resets, the stars were not aligned anymore. The stasis came on through, and that means Darius just couldn't do anything else in the fight. So a big team fight win for Mango. Some really big plays here by the Vladimir and also the Poppy as well. Really big team fight for them, and now with the Baron, it's going to be very difficult to try and come back.
Yeah, very difficult at this time and point. But I mean, Kalos using the ultimate there just to keep away Gnar from this T2 as they get the minions into there as well. It's forcing a fight between both the higher ground turret and the T2 is going to be pretty huge. Poppy boinking Darius all the way to the back of the base as well. Means that he's not going to be able to capitalize or try to get into the back line of Mango Esports for now. But this is definitely setting up the final kind of Dragon Soul that they need to activate this Infernal Drake Soul.
And exactly that, because they got the Baron Nashor, because they got the minion waves pushing in, they've got so much power into this, and all the Xayahs actually doing a crazy amount of damage. Oh, no. I mean, gets the kill, but I don't think it's going to be enough, to be fair. The kill coming on through. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough, though, to try and stop this Infernal Soul. As I mentioned, because of the Baron buff, you gain not only the stats from the minions trying to get the extra power, but also the stats onto the champions. We get one kill, but Ornn's like, yeah, that's a worthy trade. I'll take my death for the Baron Nashor going, for the Infernal Soul, sorry, going down. And that's going to be so much damage now onto the side of Mango.
Timing there gets caught out, obviously, with the pull, but it's not going to be enough. Obviously, they do have the Infernal Dragon Soul now, but like you were saying there, Kalos just being the scapegoat in that whole interaction. If you're going to lose anybody, you're going to lose your support, right? I mean, we have Patterson still on Poppy. He's still a strong front line, and Kalos is back up now. So it's like he's never gone. He's never gone, but the impact is now going to be felt onto the Rift.
45 seconds until that Elder Dragon spawns as well. The gold lead is still not that big, though, in Mango's favor. They actually weren't really able to get anything, if you think about it, from that Baron buff. Normally with Baron buff, you want to try and take these inhibitor towers, try and open up the base here for the Mina squad, but unfortunately hasn't really been able to take anything from this. So Mango, even though they do take the Baron, they do have the Infernal Soul, which is going to give them a bit of power. They're only 3,000 gold ahead. With the Elder Drake and the Baron buff both spawning at the same time, this is really where the late game team fights come in and when they can really make a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, we've already saw damage come from, obviously, the Xayah onto the side of the Mina team as well, right? So if they even, like, try and attempt to get this Elder Dragon, it's definitely going to be sort of like the be-all that they need, or even, like, the catalyst that they need to try and start a team fight that's going to be even stronger than what they already have right now. Solo's bringing it in. Yep, the Vladimir goes in with Sanguine Paul as well. He's trying to just delete the health bars of the backline of the Mina team right now. Using the status there is Gnar. Gnar has to run out with very little health, able to push away the SB3 team all the way to the base territory. Means that this could be a quick takedown of the Elder Dragon here for the side of Mango Esports, which could just benefit that team fight even more. Having that execution from this Elder Dragon means that if you have timing going into the backline, it's going to delete a lot faster.
Yeah, I mean, the Vladimir damage in that last fight was absolutely disgusting. The Proto Belt giving him that extra edge, that extra mobility that he really needed. And you're kind of seeing the downside of Blitzcrank right now, because who do you hook? Who are you hooking and who are you trying and, you know, focus down? The big difference here between Ornn and Blitzcrank is like night and day, really, when it comes to these fights. Ornn had this huge, massive AoE ultimate, the huge, massive knock-up as well to make a big difference in these fights. Meanwhile, Blitzcrank is just trying to land hooks and trying to make a big difference. But I think timing has really been the MVP of this game. You know, every single time he dashes on in with his ultimate, he's doing a crazy amount of damage. Gwen's able to get a tower in the bot side, but now this is the scary part. Elder Drake and Baron buff onto Mango. This is their opportunity that they could try and push into the base. Hook lands on Poppy, but that's a Poppy. That's going to take you about 20 years to try and kill a Poppy. That's not the right target.
Yeah, not at this point, especially with the heart still stacks as well as obviously even the twin guard also coming through for the Poppy. There's a lot of defense items already into the automation of Patterson here. They're looking to take these T3s up into
look
at that! The Elder Dragon just showing the buff of this neutral objective is just so fierce. It's so game ending.
Oh my god. I mean, just the Hex flash forward into the third ability, into the first ability. I don't even think he used his ultimate there. Actually, he might have used ultimate because it is on cooldown, but even so, like the burst damage that he was able to do before the ulti damage even came on through in the end, and they're going to be able to finish this game. The Elder Drake and the Baron buff in the end. The final ace to finish it off as well. Mango eventually finished this game number 1, but as I mentioned, a much closer game than our first series.
Yeah. I'm gonna say we expected it with going into this one. We said, hey guys, the first series may not be what we wanted here, but going into this second series, it's definitely gonna be closer, and that definitely